No, I did not see it coming. I was getting ready for my prom, getting out the shower, and I got a call from Jay Brown, who works for Jay-Z, and he just told me, it was a nice run, kiddo, but, we gotta let you go. So that was the end of it, and I just kept it to myself for like 6 months. I didn't want to tell anybody because I didn't want to deal with the questioning and all of that, so I just kept it to myself, and finally people started hearing it through the grapevine.
You kind of had like a mentor relationship with Jay-Z during that time?
Yeah, he was definitely a mentor. He was like a father figure.
This lady up the rock.
She's the princess.
The princess.
Yeah.
Okay, and what sets her apart as an artist from other R&B vocalists, female, that you think?
I just say, she's young, you know what I'm saying? So the integrity and the truth in what she's saying, you know what I'm saying, mixed with how she's really a sweet, innocent girl if you speak to her, you know what I'm saying? But she's seen a lot, so her twist on it and her take on it is...
No, I did not see it coming. I was getting ready for my prom, getting out the shower, and I got a call from Jay Brown, who works for Jay-Z, and he just told me, was a nicer kiddo. But got to let you go, so that was the end of it, and I just kept it to myself for like 6 months. I didn't want to tell anybody cause I didn't want to deal with the questioning and all of that, so I just kept it to myself, and finally people start hearing it through the grapevine. You kind of had like a mentor relationship with Jay-Z during that time. Yeah, he was definitely a mentor. He was like a five lady of the rock. She's the princess, okay. And what sets her apart as an artist from other R&B vocalist female that you think, I just say she's young, what I'm saying, so that the integrity and the truth in what she's saying. What I'm saying, mixed with how she's really a sweet, innocent girl if you speak to her, saying, but she's seen a lot, so her twist on it and her take on it is do y'all remember how quickly Teairra Marie disappeared from the music scene? 1 minute she was the princess of Rockefeller with all the options laid out in front of her, and the next she's kicked to the curb by Jay-Z, while Rihanna, a fresh face from the Caribbean, is propped up as the next big thing. And if Jay-Z and Beyonce think that they're going to get away with what they did just because Rihanna came out to be such a big star, then they are in for a rude awakening, because Teairra Marie is still holding grudges. There's always been talks about how Beyonce basically derailed her career because she saw Teairra as a threat. Well, let's break down what really happened between them. Rihanna and we had a showcase, and at the showcase there were 2 artists performing. Her name is Teairra Marie, and she's a really sweet girl, and the truth is I was paying a little more attention to her than I was to Rihanna after the showcase. Beyonce just gave me one of those looks, and he said that Rihanna girl, she's a beast, and she looked away, right? And I was like, so I did a Rihanna double take, but it wasn't as though I didn't believe in Rihanna. I love that girl, right? But I paid a little more attention when Beyonce said that one thing folks have been saying is that there's nothing like a morally upright billionaire, cause they must have stepped on some people's heads to achieve so much. And the way that Jay-Z and Beyonce moved, especially in the early 2000s, keeps proving that they ain't all the way straight up. Soon after she turned 16, Teairra Marie was put in the spotlight after she got signed to Def Jam by La Reid. Tiara's mentor Big Mike of Kiss Productions had shopped her demo to a few music execs, and the minute La Reid heard her saying he thought that she was going to be the next big star, even Def Jam's A&R exec Shakir Sturt was so impressed with her that he said, quote, Teairra was a star when she walked into the room. She captured the room when she did her audition. We fell in love with her from day one. End quote. Teairra was young, pretty, and had this urban look that both La Reid and Jay-Z believed would make her a standout in the market. And when she released her debut single Make Her Feel Good, it did insane numbers. Jay-Z knew that he had just struck gold with this one. They started calling her Princess of Rock, took her to public events, and Jay-Z co-signed her and basically made it clear to all that Teairra was someone to look out for. Even when Rihanna came onto the scene and was eager to prove herself, the execs were not really checking for her like that, because they believed that it was Teairra that was going to be the bigger star. Rihanna already had a hit with Pondera Replay, but the label still focused most of their resources on Teairra Marie, while Rihanna was basically left to fend for herself. But all it took was a few words from Beyonce to turn this whole situation on its head. Beyonce was already Jay-Z's girlfriend at the time, and she was also a huge star because of her success from her debut album Dangerously in Love. That album dominated the radio, and let's not forget that Destiny's Child was popular and massively successful as well. So anything that Beyonce said about artists, especially in the R&B space, carried some heavy weight. According to La Reid, they had an in-house company showcase, and Beyonce just so happened to be there. After the girls were done performing, Beyonce approached Reid and simply told him that Rihanna was a beast. She didn't say or do too much. but that was enough to push Rihanna to the forefront. Rihanna and Beyonce were never friends. Even now they are more like friend-enemies than anything else, because many have always wondered why Rihanna and Beyonce never did a song together when Rihanna was signed by Jay-Z. As soon as Riri started getting pushed by Def Jam and got a co-sign from Jay, Rihanna started singing Beyonce's praises, saying that every artist should be like her, but I'm guessing that she did all of that because she knew Def Jam didn't start paying attention to her out of nowhere. I'm a big fan of Beyonce, I love her. And so has she given you any kind of advice? Or yeah, she actually wrote me this cute little letter and she signed it with her autograph. It was so cute, when I first met her, and she wrote, she was telling me just let loose when you perform and just have fun and be in control. Definitely, I just thought she was, well, the first thing I saw, was her beauty and how beautiful she was, and then I listened to her music and I loved her music. She's incredibly talented. I think she's what every female artist should strive to be. Or strive to be like, cause she, despite all her success, she still remains right. Was it like meeting her? I could not speak. Really, that's someone I really looked up to for a long time, and it was after one of my showcases, and he was introducing me to everyone from the label. Then he finally said, okay, one more person, and there she was, and I could not speak. And she gave you some advice? Yes, she did. She just told me to, when I get on stage, let Elle have fun and be in control. Yeah, and don't be afraid to let it go. No. Cause she be like, how she does it. But according to Teairra, Marie pushing to the front of the line at Def Jam was one of the worst mistakes Beyonce could have ever made. Just like La Reid, Beyonce knew that Teairra was very talented, and that was the problem. According to several theories and reports, Beyonce saw that Teairra was going to be a problem for her brand in the future because Teairra had the same sound as her, so she decided to cut it from the root before it became too messy. What happened was, I got dropped from Rockefeller on my prime day. They get ready for the yeah, honey, getting ready. I was putting lotion on my legs, got a phone call, ring. Hey, yeah, we're going to be letting you go. I was like, I didn't even tell anybody that day, but I was depressed for a little minute. I got back up. I was only 18 years of age, so it was time to get back up, get back out there and just show my resilience, and that's what I'm doing now, and I'm here new deal with Warner Brothers for real. So God is good. After the release of her debut single, everyone was comparing Teairra Marie to Beyonce cause the two of them were quite similar in their music and performance styles. The comparison between them was so much that Def Jam fed into it by G and Teairra. Beyonce's parts in Destiny's Child, Lose My Breath, when her debut album Rockefeller Records presents Teairra Marie dropped. A music critic for the Rolling Stone, Christian Horde, said, quote, apparently Jay-Z just can't get enough of Beyonce having scored the real deal as his girlfriend. The Jam Press is releasing records from a couple of pretty young things who obviously spent some time studying Miss B's playbook. The debut from Detroit native Teairra Marie is as full of known crin and peel, end quote, and yeah, that wasn't something Beyonce wanted out there. Especially because she was just starting to find her feet as a solo artist. Everyone thought that Rihanna was just going to be this one-hit wonder and fade into the background, so imagine Beyonce's surprise when Rihanna's name is being mentioned in the same conversation as she, and some folks even saying that Rihanna might just be the more successful artist. Yikes. And it didn't help that Rihanna and Jay-Z were getting too cozy with each other, because you can't even count how many times that man has stepped out on his wife. This whole thing with Rihanna and Beyonce got so bad that at the Tidal press conference an insider said, quote, the Tidal press conference was awkward to begin with. Trying to fit all the inflated egos of Nicki Minaj, Madonna and Kanye on stage was difficult, but Beyonce and Rihanna made things worse. They refused to stand next to each other or speak with each other. Handler and coordinators went through great lengths to keep the divas happy. The whole show was carefully choreographed, and these two almost had nothing to do with each other, end quote. But in all their games and music politics, the one who truly got hurt was Teairra Marie. She found out that she got dropped when she was preparing for prom. She had always considered Jay-Z as a father figure, and Beyonce and Rihanna were like family to her as well. So for Jay-Z to not even address her one time before dropping her cut her deep and showed her for the first time there's really no loyalty in the music industry. She continued pushing forward by signing a new deal with Warner Brothers and releasing new music, but it never really hit the same. Def Jam tried to sell her as this R&B artist and continued to push this narrative through her second single, No Daddy, but who wants to believe that a 16 or 17-year-old singer knows about that stuff? Folks were a little more forgiving when hip-hop MCs like Foxy Brown rapped about stuff like that, but people were